Hey, Brandon with Tufts Tree Service here. I've got a Bandit model chipper. It's a 12-inch. I'm gonna just give you a quick rundown, a couple of steps. We're looking at about 6 steps approximately, so I'm gonna guide you through that. I'll try to do my best and go slow, explain why. One of the steps is gonna be imperative, pretty important. The rest are just kind of basic, key turn, button push, so forth. Okay, so simple, flap to the door, open it up. If you're not using it, make sure it's got a pin in it and it's locked. Take it out. Okay, so what we're gonna note here before we start any of these steps is that there's a tachometer on the machine. We always want it at 1200 when we're engaging or disengaging. So always 1200 RPM. It'll read it digitally for you. Let's see, so yeah, engaging, disengaging. That's the clutch. Works pretty similar, just like a clutch on a vehicle. Slow in, slow out, for the most part. So we've got key, all the digital, the tachometer up here. We've got some gauges. All the gauges have already been set for security, and it'll shut down a machine if there's anything going wrong. Here's your throttle. Lowest point up is basically your rabbit. It's going to be the highest throttle, okay? We'll always start out in low throttle. So another note here, just a couple of more things. There is a crush cylinder on the back of this. You do have to manually engage it. So I'm engaging it right now. It just brings down the dual feed wheels, and it will basically crush a log for you, pull it in better. So make sure you use these, otherwise sometimes the brush won't feed through properly. So all you have to do is just push it once, crushes it, pulls it in. We try to avoid hanging on to it, leaving it engaged for a long time. Okay, so again, just real quick, 1200 RPM. That's where we want to start and end every time. So when we're starting the machine, let's get it up to 1200 RPM via the throttle here. When we're going to shut down the machine, we always want to bring it back down to the throttle right here for 1200 RPM. We can easily see it readable right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the machine real quick. So it's a diesel engine. So we're going to do one key turn, and then to complete the circuit, we're going to do a second key turn. So I've got the machine on. It's just like engaging the ignition. I can see that there's 0 RPM here. This button right here is pretty important. It's a Murphy switch. We call it a Murphy switch. 0 RPM. Once we push it in, you'll hear the fuel engage inside. I can let go of it, the fuel stops engaging. This is a safety measure for oil pressure. That's for us really. So when you do start it, you have to engage the button. If I'm not engaging it, it'll never start, it'll turn over. So now I'm engaging the button. Hold it in. You're gonna wanna hold it in for about 5 seconds, let go of it. Now we're reading the RPM. That's good. I usually let the machine warm up for 5 minutes. Throttle. .1200 RPM. Just about there. That's a good RPM. The important part that you want to remember is when you're engaging the clutch. There's a big belt in here. If you engage it hardcore, it's going to burn up that belt. So look, super easy. You can hear it start up inside. And then I'm going to have to push it in further. Now it's fully engaged. Full RPM. Now to disengage it, you want to bring it back down to 1200 RPM. I'm going to let it idle back down to 1200 or about. Now I'm going to disengage it. throttle all the way down. When you shut off the machine, P, that's it. So essentially, whenever you're starting the machine, you're just doing what you did backwards when you're killing the machine. So this is all, forward is always engaged. Backwards is always disengaged. A little trick on this particular machine is that right here, you can actually look in here and you can watch the wheel as it begins to speed up. So if you see that wheel fully sped up and it's turning, the bearings in there, the shaft, then that's engaged. You know that it's spinning. You can engage the machine. So again, engaged, disengaged,